I'm going to tell you about a man who arrived in a small Irish town with a plan. Not a vacation plan, not a business plan, a death plan. He checked into a hotel under a fake name, a name that didn't exist, an address that was a vacant lot in Austria. He systematically, methodically, deliberately erased every single piece of himself, his clothes, his belongings, his identity, his history, over 4 days in June 2009. Then he walked into the ocean. And here's where it gets strange. They found his body the next morning. And despite having his DNA, his fingerprints, his clothing, his teeth records, they have never, not once, in nearly 17 years, been able to figure out who he was. Not his name, not his family, not where he came from. This is the story of Peter Bergmann, the man who deleted his past before he was found dead. Let's go. Andrew here for Permanent Underclass, where we explore the weird stuff your therapist would tell you to avoid. The oh cool, now I'll never sleep again side of reality. If you're easily scared, easily offended, or easily anything, you're in the wrong place. Sligo, County Sligo, on the west coast of Ireland. It's the kind of place that feels forgotten by time. Rolling green hills, old stone walls, the Atlantic crashing against rocky shores. Not a town built for mysteries. Not a town built for anything except surviving. In June 2009, it was just another quiet summer. Tourists came for the beaches. Locals went about their lives. Nothing remarkable happened in Sligo. Until a middle-aged man in a black leather jacket stepped off a bus from Derry on the afternoon of June 12th. He had 2 bags, a black shoulder bag, a standard carry-on luggage bag. Nothing unusual there. He took a taxi to the Sligo City Hotel, paid cash for 3 nights up front, and wrote a name in the guest register, Peter Bergmann. Address Einstettersen 15, 4472, Vienna, Austria. The hotel staff didn't ask for ID. He had a thick German accent. He was neatly groomed. Short gray hair, blue eyes, clean-shaven, late 50s, maybe early 60s. Wore a black leather jacket, blue trousers, black shoes, smoked frequently, kept to himself. He seemed like a professional, maybe a businessman, maybe a traveler. But here's what they didn't know. The address he gave was fake, not just wrong, not a typo. A vacant lot in Austria, a street that doesn't exist. A postal code that doesn't exist. And Peter Bergmann? That name would turn out to be as real as a ghost. Over the next 4 days, something strange happened. CCTV cameras around Sligo captured the man leaving his hotel every day with a purple plastic bag. Every day he'd return, bag empty. Whatever was inside, he'd disposed of it. But here's what the footage shows. He knew exactly where the cameras were. He deliberately used their blind spots. He knew how to hide. He was methodical, careful, like someone who'd done this before, or like someone who had a plan. On Sunday, June 14th, 2 days after arriving, he asked a taxi driver to take him to a quiet beach where he could swim. The driver recommended Ross's Point, about 15 minutes away. The man looked at the beach, surveyed the vast blue water, seemed satisfied, and then he got back in the same taxi and returned to town. He wasn't going swimming that day. He was just checking the location. On Monday, June 15th, he checked out of the hotel at 1 p.m. He left 1 bag behind. He walked to the bus station, stopped in a shopping precinct, and waited, poised, like a man about to turn back. Then he continued on. He bought a cappuccino and a ham and cheese sandwich. While eating, he read pieces of paper from his pocket. Then he tore them up and threw them away. Every note, every scrap, gone. He boarded the 2:20 p.m. bus to Ross's Point. 16 people saw him walking on the beach that evening. He greeted them politely, a jovial, if formally dressed figure, they'd later recall. Happy, almost. At 11:50 p.m., the last confirmed sighting, he was still there. The next morning, at 6:45 a.m., A local man and his son were jogging along Ross's Point Beach. They were training for a triathlon. That's when they found him. His body was washed up on the shore. His clothes were scattered across the sand. Purple striped swimming trunks. Navy t-shirt tucked in. No wallet, no money, no identification. The labels had been cut out of every piece of clothing he owned. The autopsy revealed things that didn't make sense. The man was in his mid to late 50s. His teeth told a story of someone who'd had significant dental work. Bridges, root canals, crowns, a full gold tooth on the upper right. Regular dental care throughout his life, but his body told a different story. Advanced prostate cancer, bone tumors, signs of previous heart attacks. He was missing a kidney. This was a man riddled with disease, a man whose body should have been screaming in pain. A man who, by all logic, should have been on medication, but the toxicology report found nothing. No painkillers, no prescriptions, no drugs of any kind. He was suffering, physically, obviously suffering, and he chose to suffer without relief. The cause of death was cardiac arrest. He drowned, but there was no water in his lungs. No classical saltwater drowning, no signs of foul play. He simply stopped. The Gardaí, Irish police, conducted a 5-month investigation. They searched every database, fingerprints, DNA, photographs, nothing matched. No missing persons reports, no relatives came forward. They reached out to Austrian and German authorities, nothing. In 2015, Le Monde reported that Irish police had never even contacted Austrian police. Interpol has no notice for him because he doesn't fit their categories. He's not a missing person, he's not a wanted person, he's just nobody. In 2009, he was buried in an unmarked grave in Sligo Town Cemetery. 4 Gardaí attended the funeral. So who was Peter Bergmann? Let's talk about the theories. Theory 1. The terminally ill escapee. This one makes the most logical sense. A man with advanced cancer, bone tumors, heart disease. He knew he was dying. He planned his death. He chose a beautiful place, a quiet beach, and he walked into the ocean. The cutting of clothing labels, the disposal of belongings, the fake name, all of it designed to spare his family the pain of knowing. No funeral, no questions, no obituary. He just disappeared. The problem? His family never came forward, not in Austria, not in Germany, not anywhere. You'd think someone would notice a middle-aged man vanishing. Theory 2. The spy. Here's where it gets weird. Some people believe he was an intelligence operative. CIA, MI6, some shadow network. The meticulous planning. The cover identity. The deliberate erasure. That's exactly how you'd expect a spy to burn their assets. The problem? No government has ever claimed him. No Secret Service has come forward. Theory 3. The criminal. Maybe he was running from something. Organized crime. A cartel. He chose Ireland because nobody would look for him there. He changed his name, burned his identity, and tried to start over. But the cancer caught up first. Theory 4. The nothing. This is the darkest theory. What if there was nobody to find him because he'd already been erased? Not by choice? By circumstance? What if he'd lived a life so isolated, so disconnected, that when he died, there was simply no one left who remembered him? Here's what gets me. In 2019, a journalist visited Sligo and met with the detective still assigned to the case. Detective Inspector Ray Mulderig has been working this for years, and he said something that stuck with me. Something must have brought him here, even if we've never been able to say what that was. Sligo is a specific place. It's not random. There's a reason he chose this beach, this town, this country. Why Sligo? What did he know? What was he running from, or running toward? His grave remains unmarked. His name remains unknown. His story remains unsolved. And every year the tide comes in at Ross's Point, and the waves wash over the spot where they found him, and nobody knows who he was. Maybe he was a father, maybe he was a spy, maybe he was just a man who got tired of being a man, or maybe and this is the theory I can't shake. Maybe he was something else entirely, something that needed to disappear. Something that came to Ireland to die because Ireland was far enough away that no one would ever connect the dots. Whatever he was, he's still out there, somewhere in a database that doesn't exist, in a file that Interpol can't file, in a grave that will never have a name. The man who erased himself, still erasing, even from our memory. If this story got under your skin, good. That's the point. Subscribe if you want more stories like this, more unsolved, more unexplained, more of the stuff that keeps you up at 3 a.m. wondering. I'll see you in the next one, if you dare.